Good morning and welcome to Hot Seat. I'm Scott Mitchell. My guest is Senator Adam Pugh from Edmond, the chair of the Senate Education Committee, and we're talking education reform as it works its way through the Capitol. Senator Pugh, good to have you.
Good morning, Scott. Thanks for having me.
My pleasure. And so let's start with the education package. The education package went through the House. The Speaker very famously said, he said, I think the Senate should pass this thing without any amendments to get it back through the House. But you folks did put amendments in there under your leadership there. You've made some amendments. So a lot of people are starting to ask two big questions to me. Number one is, will the Senate and the House be able to work out their differences before the end of May for to put these education reforms, these much needed education reforms into play for the teachers, the students in the state of Oklahoma?
You know, I certainly hope so, and I'm confident. Just based on the conversations I've had with a bunch of colleagues, not only in the Senate but also in the House. Like every legislator, I've got a lot of friends over there, and personal relationships of men and women I really respect, and I have worked with them this is my 7th year in this building. So I certainly hope that at the end of session that we'll be able to say, united, that we have made the largest investment in kids and in public education in the history of the state of Oklahoma.
All right, so tell us what the differences are between the House and the Senate. As you know it right now, it's obviously the amendments that go back to the House, and obviously they'll reject, and then you're going to go to conference. So let's start with the differences in the bills.
In House Bill 2775, which is the public education funding bill, the key differences, Scott, are, first off, our teacher pay raise. It looks a little bit different. It is a larger teacher pay raise. The House plan was a $2,500 teacher pay raise across the board for those who are directly in the classroom. Our teacher pay raise on average was $5,300, though it was tiered at different intervals across the salary tables. In addition to that, our pay raise included speech language pathologists and media specialists, reading specialists, counselors. So all what I would call certified personnel. So that certainly was a significant difference in the two plans. Additionally, our plan runs the money through the funding formula, which I believe to be the correct mechanism for us to fund public schools based on what's called a weighted average daily membership. And then we also did make some additional tweaks to the state aid funding formula to highlight priority areas where we felt we wanted to be able to allocate those additional dollars. Some of those areas would be in things like the transportation factor. So we know over the last few years that transportation costs have gone up for schools. So my understanding is that the transportation factor hasn't changed since 1983. So our bill changes that factor from 1.39 to 2, allowing for more dollars to flow to schools based on how many kids they're, what's called your average daily haul, as well as how many miles that our transportation, primarily buses obviously, are driving kids to and from schools back into their communities. Additionally, we added some weights to the economically disadvantaged factor, as well as special education and some special needs and special abilities weights. And then finally, there was a last kind of unique component to the Senate plan where we added my colleague, David Bullard, had been working for quite a while on what is called a qualitative pay. So he has added a qualitative pay component to our plan. We are funding that for up to $5,000 stipends for the top 10% designated teachers and support staff across all school districts in the state.
Senator Adam Pugh from Edmond, thank you so much for taking time to talk with us today on Hot Seat.